Alright battlers, welcome back to a brand new Timeless Cup video. I just want to take the first 20 seconds to let you know that you can now register for the January 18th, 2020 Mega Cup in Orlando, Florida, hosted by King IV. I will leave a link in the description below. It's only been live for 12 hours and already over 105 battlers have signed up. You don't want to miss it. Today's video feature is Shiftry. Shiftry just got a big upgrade, battlers. It just got access to Snarl with the new Niantic update. Snarl is an incredible fast move generating 13 energy per turn. For Leaf Blade trainers, you only need 3 Snarls, and you know how fast Snarl is. We saw this with Umbreon in the Ferocious Cup. A couple other moves I want to talk about are Foul Play and Leaf Tornado. So these are both very interesting moves. We'll talk about Foul Play first. Foul Play takes 4 Snarls initially to get to your first Foul Play, and then 3 afterwards due to the residual energy that you built up. Think of it a lot like Dusclops with Hex and Fire Punch. It's a very similar situation. Leaf Tornado, it does cost 4 for the first Leaf Tornado and then 3 due to residual energy after that. Leaf Tornado is a very interesting attack that can debuff your opponent's attack stats. So very, very good stuff there. We have Hurricane as well, which only takes 5. Hurricane is a beast of a flying type attack. It does do an immense amount of damage, basically nuking any grass type you come across. So here in the battle footage, we see Shiftry going up against Meganium. This is not a very favorable matchup, but as you can tell, that Frenzy Plant didn't do hardly any damage at all. I do allow some attacks through in this video, trainers, just so you can see how much damage they do, because you do want to find out how bulky your Shiftry is. Here we see Kingdra using Octazooka. I actually am prepping a video on Kingdra's new Octazooka move as well, so if you would like to see that, definitely leave me a like down below and let me know in the comments. In comes Shiftry, and we are going to wrap this up so fast. As you can see there, Snarl is so extremely quick. We're able to get to that Leaf Blade before the Meganium gets to Frenzy Plant to wrap up that game. Going into round 2, I will lead Sudowoodo into Sunny Castform. In comes Kingdra, and I'm actually going to swap into Victory Bell. This is a very close match in an even starting scenario, but because I shifted, or excuse me, Shiftry, I'm saying shifted, I switched in my Victory Bell after Sudo had done a couple of counters worth of damage. I'm actually able to survive that really well. In comes Sunny Castform, which I was expecting, and I fire off the Sludge Bomb, but it does get shielded. So we did earn that shield, and I do have a really good Castform counter in Sudowoodo. This is a chess match because whatever is in the back will determine the rest of this game, because I know he's going to swap out of his Pseudo here. Not before he gets a lot of energy together. I'm not sure if this is a Solar Beam, so I do decide to shield, but it's just a Weather Ball, and then here comes another Weather Ball. So not a huge deal. I know that a Pseudo can take that no problem. I'm going to get a ton of energy together and put an end to this Castform with the Earthquake, which is super effective. In comes Celio, and here comes Shiftry. Here is a Leaf Blade on a healthy Celio, and look at this. That is a ton of damage. You know Celio is very bulky, and if you get it worked down even a little bit, that Leaf Blade can end it, but you have to be wary of that Aurora Beam. As you can see there, Shiftry is part grass, and that Aurora Beam took us right out. Here we go, Shiftry versus Golduck. Golduck's Confusion is going to be resisted, but remember, trainers, it does have Cross Chop. Cross Chop is a fighting type attack, and Shiftry is part dark. So we do have to be very careful of that. I'm going to shield this first attack, which is the Cross Chop. And from our Golduck video a few days ago, maybe a week ago, we know that Golduck gets those moves really quick, but those Leaf Blades are flying too. In comes Venusaur, or excuse me, a Charizard, and I'm going to swap here into Whiscash. So Whiscash can go straight Blizzard and win this matchup, but my opponent is going to switch out into Celio. I go here for the Blizzard trainers, and this is why you don't use Blizzard on Celio. Look at that, barely any damage at all. I knew it wouldn't be effective, but we are just battle testing, and that is a critical mistake. If you're in the middle of a tournament and you fire off a Blizzard against Celio, that is a huge L for Whiscash. You definitely want to go straight Mud Bombs. Here comes our Shiftry again, and I do have my Leaf Blade loaded. That is so quick with just the 3 Snarls. As we learned from earlier trainers, this Leaf Blade will KO because the Celio is weak enough. Look at that, what a huge chunk of damage. In comes Charizard versus Charizard, but he does have an energy advantage. I'm going to allow this through, expecting the Dragon Claw, so he guessed that correctly. I know I just need to shield this next attack and get the Blast Burn, but it's not even needed because we win the CMP tie. Going into our next game, I will lead Shiftry into Dustox. So Dustox is a bug-type Pokemon with access to Silver Wind. We definitely need to be careful of that. As you probably remember from the Twilight Cup, that Silver Wind really destroys Shiftry. I'm going to fire off the Leaf Tornado and then bail. In comes Drapion. So I think this was a bad switch on Church's part. I don't think this was on purpose. I think we were playing late at night. Oh yeah, it was 1 in the morning. So, crazy things happen. But here we go with a couple of Mud Bombs to bring down the Drapion. And that was essentially a sacrificial swap, so already at a huge disadvantage. He's going to decide to bring in his Politoed, and I'm going to go straight for the Mud Bomb here with my Whiscash. So definitely the Mud Bomb spam, the Chocolate Fountain, is the way to go against most opponents, even a water type like Politoed, because as we saw, against a water ice type like Celio, the Blizzard just doesn't do anything at all. We are going to get another Mud Bomb off, and then I will not shield here, recognizing that this Politoed is pretty weak and I can hold on to my shields in the process. In comes Shiftry and the immediate swap into Dustox. Trainers, I actually do not shield here, and look at that. Boom! Shiftry does not stand a chance against the Silver Wind. Here we go with Dustox versus Charizard. I'm going to shield the Silver Wind here, recognizing that my best chance at this point is just fast attacks, but this Politoed is going to be so quick to get to its Surf. I have to be very, very careful if we're going to pull out the win. I'm going to double Dragon Claw to burn both of these shields. Why not at this point in the game? Although I realize the fast moves are key. He is going to get to a charge move here, and as long as it's not a back-to-back Surf, I think I'm okay, and the fast move damage wins it for us. Taking a look at this game, I will lead Shiftry, you guessed it, into Politoed. So Politoed does have access to Earthquake. In comes Drapion, and because my opponent switched in, I'm actually going to fire off the Leaf Tornado and then bail out. Now that this Drapion's attack is reduced, it's going to be very, very easy to deal with. I do bring in my Whiscash here, and if you can tell there's something a little bit off about this Drapion, it's not running Ice Fang. It's actually running Infestation, which gets to its charge moves really fast, but can be very, very deadly to Shiftry, because Shiftry is, I don't know, quadruple weak to Bug, being grass and dark. Trainers, please let me know down there in the comments below. I forget the exact phrase for it. But here comes Politoed, and I'm going to let Whiscash go here. Surf is going to bring us really low, and we get one more Mud Bomb. Big Daddy Whiscash just really pulling it off for us with that last moment Mud Bomb. Here we go with our Shiftry, and out comes the Dustox, and I line these Pokemon up exactly how I want them to be. In comes an attack from Dustox, and I do want to get rid of it as quickly as possible. The chief difference between Dustox and Venomoth is that Venomoth has such a much higher attack stat, so a lot of its moves are going to really add up really quickly. With Dustox, as you'll see, I think in this video, maybe in the next video, this attack doesn't hardly do anything. As you can tell there, look, that was just not even a factor. Silver Wind is not a big deal to Charizard, especially coming from Dustox. So we all wish we had that Legacy Poison Fang Venomoth, but not all of us do, me included. So here comes the Earthquake, which I do shield, and then I go right here for a charge attack, and as we know, this will bring down Politoed to win us the game. Taking a look at the next match, I will lead Shiftry here into Politoed yet again, so this is a very positive matchup for me. I get some Snarls together, out comes Charizard, and we're going to do that same Leaf Tornado and bail. So in this situation, if I had access to Foul Play, I definitely think that's what I would use. That would definitely be very useful. I do want to experiment with my Shiftry moves. I know that since the update came out, we got so many new moves to play with, and I didn't want to burn all of my charge TMs that I earned over the raid weekend, or the raid event with the 3-star raids. I didn't want to burn all of them on these Pokemon because we don't know really what's good yet, but I do think Hurricane and Foul Play are really, really solid moves that a lot of trainers might use on their Shiftrys, especially if you are playing Shiftry and you run into another grass type like a Venusaur or a Victory Bell with energy. You do have to be very wary of poison type attacks, and that Hurricane can wipe it out for you. Here we see Ludicolo, and I'm going to double Leaf Tornado this Ludicolo, and look at these Razor Leaf damage. Look, I mean, it's barely anything. That Leaf Tornado just really nerfs your opponent. Here comes another one, and it won't even let me debuff that Ludicolo anymore. But here comes a charge attack, and I know that I have to shield this with Muck. I'm going to shield the Ice Beam, and then my opponent's last Pokemon will be Politoed. Politoed is so spammy, trainers. I have to show you this here. In comes Swampert, the spam king, right? The spammiest Pokemon in the game, right? Well, Politoed's gonna nail us with that Earthquake, and before we even get to the Sludge Bomb, here comes a Surf, and Swampert falls. Taking a look at the next game, I will lead my Pseudo Widow into this Drapion. So very positive matchup for Pseudo. Even with the infestation, the Aquatail just is not going to do that much. We can only tank one comfortably, but we're going to get to these rock slides really, really fast with our counter fast attack. So we are going to have to shield one time, but this rock slide here is going to end this Drapion. He does not stay in, he goes instead into Blaziken. And here's another thing I wanted to show you, trainers. I go right into Shiftry, and Shiftry being part dark type is not going to do well against the counter users. So you have to be very careful of Blaziken and Pseudo Widow in the Timeless Cup if you're running Shiftry. I do have a rock slide ready though, and I know my Lapras and my Pseudo are all weak to Blaziken. So surprisingly, Church does not shield, but in comes the Victory Bell. So I think he's going to be just fine. I'm not able to do anything against this Victory Bell. That's something I ran into in my weighted Timeless Cup tournament in Tampa. We had it earlier in the month on the 8th, and I ran into teams that would run a Razor Leafer as their last Pokemon, and if I saved my shields for something like a Lapras, it really didn't do me any good at all. So definitely be careful about facing off against teams with Razor Leaf users, about how they use them in the lead as a safe swap or in the as a closer, because it can be really, really difficult to deal with, and you have to change your play style based on your opponent's use of their Razor Leafer. So I do switch in that Dragonair into Drapion. Not a great situation, but Dragonair is still able to overcome such a great Pokemon in this cup. I do use the Aqua Tail there to bring Drapion very low, and then the Dragon Breaths will KO it. So in comes Victory Bell, and I'm not able to get to another charge move. Not a big deal though. I do have Charizard, which I'm very, very confident can do work to this Victory Bell. He is going to swap out into Politoed, and I go right into Shiftry. I've got a ton of energy from those Snarls, so the Leaf Blades are flying. We get to another one, trainers, almost back to back. So spammy, so crazy. Shiftry has those Jiraiya shoes, and he is fast just like Jiraiya. This is so much fun. We almost get to another Leaf Blade, but I decide not to shield. Really trying to push this Shiftry to the limit. We're able to fast move down the Politoed. Out comes Victory Bell. And here I'm going to go for the Leaf Tornado because I know it probably has a charge attack ready for Charizard. So if the shields were down, this actually could swing the match in my favor. I do think that's one of the merits of that attack, but luckily it wasn't even needed. Going to this next game, I lead Pseudo Widow into Skuntank. So again, another Poison Dark user against Pseudo. We know Pseudo is going to win this match, but in this clip in particular, I wanted to show you Shiftry's ability to close games. When you're seeing a lot of dual ice water types and water types in this cup, and Shiftry is a terror to those Pokemon. Here comes another attack from Skuntank, and I do unfortunately have to use a shield, but I know this Rock Slide that I QSA'd will bring down the Skuntank there, which it does. So we are both one shield each. In comes Golduck, and I'm trying to get to another rock slide, but we don't get there. I do have Shiftry here, and I am going to allow this cross chop through, and that did a huge chunk of damage, so we do have to be very careful about another cross chop. I'm gonna get a lot of energy together here and then burn his shield, and then my opponent swaps into Celio. So Celio going up against Muck here. Kanto Muck is another very interesting poison type that I promised myself I'd do a feature on. I just haven't put together enough great battle footage to show you guys. So if you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments as well. I do think there's a lot of merit to it because it does have Thunder Punch to protect you against Charizard and the water types. It even does really well against Lapras. So we're going to fire off another Thunder Punch here against Celio. The shields are down, and I know the Celio has a ton of energy, but he's going to burn it on the Body Slam. That's just the downside of Celio with Powder Snow. Its fast moves don't do any damage. I'm going to go here for the Leaf Tornado, and then my opponent brings in their next Pokemon, and look at that, trainers. We didn't even have to charge. We have another Leaf Blade ready to take down the Golduck. Trainers, the new moves are awesome. I hope you're really experimenting and changing your teams around. I know the Timeless Cup in LA is raging right now as we speak, and a lot of trainers have a lot of interesting Pokemon that they are bringing. I really hope that goes well for everybody. Cheers to everyone involved. I know my friend Jangles, who is helping to organize the event in Orlando, is actually there in LA right now, so good luck to you, my friend. Trainers, again, sign up for the Orlando Mega Cup. It is the first Mega Cup of 2020, and you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a huge year for PvP. Go Battle League is coming, and it is a huge piece of history. Trainers, I cannot wait to see you there. I hope you enjoyed my Shiftry video. Leave me a like. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and if you really, really enjoyed it, please just hit that subscribe button to see more.